Hi, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I am Elisa, here to do another reading. I just watched the blood moon lunar eclipse, soaked in that energy, so I'm going to do a reading and see what comes through. Just when I pulled this out of the box, at the bottom we have magic, so that's pretty cool. The stars are lined. And when I was setting things up to do this reading, oh, we got magic and we got completion, end of a cycle, beginning of a new cycle. And it's interesting because what I was just about to say is that the message that was kind of coming through for me with the eclipse was you can't draw blood from a stone. And the message is kind of like we're going through this big shift. And I was talking about in one of the earlier readings, which I'll link up here, this divergence in timelines that's happening where like we have the builders and we have the destroyers, you know, and it's just like the old way of doing things has been pretty dysfunctional for a while. So it's like the builders have kind of jumped off and started like working on like a new path, you know, whereas like the destroyers are still trying to extract what they can out of the old way, which is obviously no longer working, you know. So now it's gotten to this point of like profound destruction that's happening, you know. So it's interesting because there's clearly a new path that's starting to emerge out of the dust and the chaos of what's happening right now. And with that is going to be like a new value system, you know, because obviously the old way of doing things is no longer working. You know, we just found out that like, you know, all the people pulling the levers on the old system were like involved in like the Epstein scandal, you know, so it's, I mean, not all of them, but you know, quite a lot of them. And so it's just sort of like, people are getting back to the roots, you know. We're like valuing people who are actually nice people who will do the work, you know, and aren't just trying to milk everyone else for, you know, out of their own greed or whatever. So I'm kind of getting that, like, you can't draw blood from a stone. Like, there's nothing left to extract from the old system. So at this point, it's just destruction, you know. And meanwhile, the people who are functional are like, I can't work in this environment, so I'm going to move forward. And they're already off creating a new path forward. Oh, okay, so these two just plopped out. We got Pachamama and we got the drum. So this is really interesting because Pachamama is sort of like, well, you can see his costume is very fiery, you know, and what I just got out of it is sort of like, I don't even know if this has anything to do with Pachamama, but what I just got out of it is this like phoenix rising out of the molten ash of this volcano, you know. That's that's what I'm getting from this card today. And we have the drum, which this is a card of like being in sync with the synchronicities, you know, the message that we're getting from our ancestors and from the higher realms and from God, and you know, however you perceive this, staying in sync with this rhythm, you know, because there is this new world that's being born out of the ashes of the old, and it's a time of rebirth and regeneration. And we have the upper worlds presiding over this shift. So very, very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I think I'm gonna go to the angels and ancestors next, since we did get the upper world and we do have the higher realms presiding over this shift that we are going through. Okay. So these just popped out when I opened the box. We got Sage, Be Devoted and Committed. And we also got Great Teacher, Learn from Spiritual Experience. And we have Jesus releasing this dove. So, I mean, from what I'm getting from this is like, you know, we are going to be given the guidance that we need to weather this storm. And we need to be devoted and committed to building our new future, because this is like a time of great opportunity and big shifts. So that's what I just got from that. And I'm going to go to the Cat Tarot. I actually just went through this crazy experience with my cat over the weekend where she had to be hospitalized, and she almost, I mean, the vet was like, she might die, you know, because she, the cap to my mom's bottle of vitamin D didn't get screwed down, and she ate the entire bottle. And so everyone's like, oh my gosh, you know, she's going to, I mean, it's like, it was like a lethal dose, you know, so I was like, oh my gosh. So I took her to the vet, and they, you know, did all the IV fluids, and I mean, it was really scary, but ultimately she's fine. Like, she's gonna be fine. Like, she doesn't even seem to have any permanent damage. I mean, it's kind of like a miracle, but from what I understand, there is a difference between vitamin D2 and vitamin D3, because vitamin D3 is more likely to like crystallize your organs. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyways, there was a lot of drama in the cat world for me this weekend. So, okay, so at the bottom of this deck, we have the King of Wands. It's interesting because we have this, it's like, it looks like almost like a canary on the top of his wand. So, I mean, what I just got from that was, you know, the whole, oh no, I think my cat might be about to throw up. I think she's okay. It was just a mild digestive disturbance, which, you know, she wasn't eating for several days, so it makes sense that her tummy is a little unsettled. But it was weird that I just finished telling that story, and then you hear the cat like in the background. She's okay though. Anyways, what I just got from this, which is an unusual message for this card, the King of Wands, because the King of Wands is a card of, I mean, a king that like is fiery and like passionate and appreciates arts and culture, and like it kind of reminds me of this, like fiery phoenix coming out of the ashes. I mean, look at how these cards even match. It's bizarre. But this gives me this message that's coming through about this canary in the coal mine, like as if like there is this fiery rebirth that's in process, that's coming down the pipe, and this is the canary in the coal mine. Like, look at all those flames, you know. There's clearly a big transformation that's starting. So that's the card that we get at the bottom of the deck. And then we have the Sun. We have Unity, which is kind of like the world. And then we have the Ten of Swords. Wow. So what I just got from that is like, here comes the Sun, like this new world is emerging from the, and look at this. Again, like this message is like really coming through strong in this reading. You know, it's the end of the old world and the beginning of the new, but it's a beautiful new world, you know, and then the end of suffering. So it's like both of these things are happening at once. Both of these experiences are part of this transformation that's happening, but ultimately we're moving towards a better situation. So that's interesting. I'm going to go to the healing waters, see what we get here, and then I'm going to do the Queen of the Moon Oracle because it is a full moon, lunar blood moon eclipse that just happened like moments ago, and we'll see what we get. Okay. Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, when I just took it out of this is a split. We got let it rain, allowing what is, inevitability, trust. So yeah, like I was saying, like both of these things are happening at once. The old world is dying. Let it happen. Trust, but you know, keep looking forward. And we have King Tide, plenty, prosperity, receiving the fullness of life. So yeah, like that message is coming through again. Okay, so then we're gonna end with the Queen of the Moon Oracle. The cat did just like eat a bunch of food for the first time this morning. Like that was the most she's eaten since all of this happened. I was like, oh, yay, she's got her appetite back, but maybe her stomach was not quite ready for it. Poor little kitty, she's been through so much. She's a real fighter. Okay, so let's see what we get here. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what we're all kind of having to go through right now, right? Like, it's a big shift. So we might have some digestive disturbances along the way. Okay, okay. At the bottom, we have the void. So the liminal, oh, weird. It's like an eclipse. That's crazy. It's like the liminal space between worlds, which, you know, that's like a message that's been super coming through in this reading. And then we have two things. We have the path. So it's like we're seeing this path out of the darkness. You know, this path is emerging. And we have the resistance. Look at all the green growing through the cracks. You know, like it's not going to be an easy transition, but there's all this growth emerging from it. So, yeah, you can't draw blood from a stone, but you can grow green with the seed. So that's a message for today. And yeah, I'll be back at some point in the future.